It was congratulations on your win, of course, when Ty and Ricky. The whoops were tricky. It was a long whoop section. You started the main event skimming. You kind of went to a jump line, maybe halfway through, about halfway through, went back to skimming. There was a pretty decent gap between you and Chase. Mm-hmm. Were you at the point where you were just kind of settling in with that big gap, or did you have more in the tank to push towards the end? Because the gap was pretty large.
Yeah. I kept it. I thought I was kind of maintaining it in the beginning, and then he obviously started pulling away. And then I went to the jump, and then he started pulling away more when I started jumping. So I did that for, I don't know, whatever it was, 5 or 6 laps. And then I got on the pit board to go back to skim, and then I tried that, and I felt like that was just the better line for me. With that being said, I felt like I even had more advantage in the heat race with the skim, and they just got really chewed up, as usual. For skimming, but yeah, I don't know. It was one of those tracks to where I actually think jumping saves some energy, for that late race push.
Thank you.
Let's go to Ryan from Cycle News.
Sorry, I should unmute myself. My question's for Cooper. Cooper, you're one of the only guys doing that big kind of triple over onto that table or over that table before the finish line. Can you just take us through what made you choose that line and kind of, when do you decide that's the line I'm going to take?
Well, actually during practice, we're able to film other guys, and Eli did a line after the whoops where he went inside roll and then over that table. And in my mind, that was actually pretty fast, but in my mind I was like, man, I think you'd be able to go over that. And, honestly, it was one of those things that I felt like I could have done sooner, but wanted to save it maybe for the main, and I felt like getting out of the ruts and stuff was going to be a big advantage there, and it was. It kind of kept me in it a little bit because I was struggling in some other places. But, yeah, I just kind of, I don't know, you kind of know when you can do something or not, and I felt like that one was pretty good and not too, unsafe or anything.
Aaron Hans with Racer X. Two-parter for you, Chase. So hoping you could take us through the moment in the main event when you went down, and after that, it looked like you weren't as comfortable. Did you damage the bike, or did you hurt yourself in any way?
I wish I could tell you what happened. I landed the triple single, and I literally had a 2-wheel slide, and there was nothing I could do. So after that, it's really hard to get back into a flow on a track like that. And I had some good laps, and then I was starting to get a little bit off balance on the jump line, and then Cooper really just caught me really fast, and then I was being very, very timid on the Dragon's back, which it was just, I didn't feel super comfortable on it. And then once I crashed, I was really just trying to not get through it, but not make any more mistakes. So obviously he caught me, and then after he got around me, I was just in survival mode basically. So up until the crash though, I felt so comfortable and really smooth, and I had a really good flow going. So gotta go back to work and analyze what I did wrong and try and fix it.
Were you hurt, or was the bike damaged?
No, bike was fine. I was fine. It was just trying to get back into a flow was tough.
Okay. One more question. This is for both you and Eli. When you guys are 1 and 2, at that point it's a battle for the red plate. Whoever wins gets the red plate. Is that something that you guys are thinking about when you're out there?
Yeah. I obviously know how close it is, right? At this point in time. So, yeah, it was like whoever wins this race, takes the red plate. So it's definitely crunch time.
For me, I just want to win. That's all I was thinking about. So the red plate's obviously nice, but it doesn't really. Obviously it matters right now, but the guy that has it the last race obviously wins. So I was just wanting to win the race.
All right, David Iser.
Thanks, Dan. Eli, did you ever think you get as much attention and as many questions about a top 5 in a Supercross as you did this weekend? Was it distracting?
I just expect them, if I have one of those races, so I don't know. I was questioning myself just as much as everyone else was to me. So
yeah, all I can say, I was not feeling it on that track.
All right. And Chase, this is for you. You're very positive when these things happen, and you always look forward to the next race. But at this point, do you feel snake bit?
I mean, it's kind of if you look at it in a negative, there's no really pulling yourself out of it. So negativity never is the answer. And for me, if I can be positive and try and be better, that's all I can do. So, yeah, no such thing. I mean, I don't want to think it's bad luck, nothing like that. Just got to be better. So me being positive is the only way really out of it. And I definitely think I'm capable of fixing the problem. It's just finding those small pieces and putting them together. Everything else is really good. Just got to fix that part.
And a rider at your level, when you say that you don't know what happened, people are thinking if it's not your fault, an obvious mistake, then it's the bike or the setup or something like that. Can you differentiate between you making a mistake and maybe the setup of the bike that jumped up and did something you didn't expect?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, like I said, I did the same thing I did the lap before and ended up on the ground. So it is tough. It's tough mentally to kind of go back and analyze what happened, because at this point it happened so fast and there was no saving it. So got to go back and try and be better. Like I said, you can't blame the bike. You kind of have to put it on yourself. So I got to, like I said, be better and go back, look and see where the bike was at when it happened, and go back to work.
All right, thank you.
Jason Wygant.
Yeah, this is for Cooper. Jason from Racer X. You lost ground in the middle of the race. That might have cost you because you got close at the end. Was it just line choice, or is there stuff you're like, man, I got to work on riding or bike to keep that gap closer the way this race unfolded?
Oh, yeah, like I said, at the beginning I kind of latched on, and then I had kind of just committed to that jump line and the middle set of whoops, and Eli was really skimming them well, and Chase was getting through there good. And I couldn't honestly see what he was doing, but I felt from the dragon, and then the other whoops is where I was really just giving up a little bit of time. And I switched lines. That kind of helped there at the end. But yeah, I felt actually really good everywhere else. I think they just had a little bit of pace on me, to be fair, and it just every lap kind of added. And then, my pit board pretty much said the same thing every lap from lap 1 to 20. So definitely got the consistency, just maybe need a little bit more of that speed at the middle and beginning part. And like I said, I feel like when the track gets super gnarly and rough, I'm able to adapt. But I think overall today I just kind of lacked a little bit of speed throughout the whole day.
So is that something you have a plan you can work on in these weeks to come to get that, or is it track specific and it's hard to say exactly what happened here and how to fix it?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, like I said, some days I think you just gel super well with the track. Some days you just struggle a little bit, and today was kind of an in between. I think at this level we're all so good and so fast. You're going to have certain days that are better than others, and I felt good enough to do well tonight. That was never a doubt in my mind, but you kind of you see, in practice. Obviously, I struggle in practice, but when there's a lot of time to be made, it is tough sometimes just to pull that out of the bag. So, like I said, I think we'll work on that throughout the week. It's kind of what we need to maybe pay attention to and see what the next round brings. You never know.
And for Eli, the heat race was great. You were able to pass these guys in the whoops. Did you need that to bounce back from last week, or did you already know as soon as you rode in practice that was last week and you were going to be fine?
Well, I didn't have that speed, and even in practice, the whoops. I mean, I was good, but I wasn't that much, that fast through them. So I was really strong in the heat, and back to last week. I knew I'd be better this week with this condition, this track, and just trying to forget about Tampa.
Let's go to Jamie Guida, Vital MX.
Yeah, Coop, I want to go back to sort of what Weege asked you, but follow up a little bit. You tend to come on at the end of the race, and I want to know, you talked about finding more speed, but what do you feel like you need to work on to have the same intensity you do at the end of the race at the beginning?
I think it's a little bit maybe just being too conservative. These guys are going for it, and obviously there's some mistakes have happened and can happen. So I think just a little bit like I want to stay in. I was in a good position. I was right where I needed to be to have a good result. And I feel like they were maybe just riding that limit a little harder than I was at the beginning. And that's where I got to kind of maybe get out of my comfort zone a little bit and push that limit there at the beginning, knowing that at the end I can make it happen. But yeah, I think this track too was, a lot more open. We were back in the baseball style. So the tops of the berms some of the corners were really nice. And that's just me needing to open my eyes and go, hey, that line's better or whatever it may be. So, but overall, I'm still I feel like in a really good spot. And like I said, you're going to have certain nights where you're on. And I felt like tonight was a good overall result for those guys kind of pulling away from me at the beginning.
Thank you.
Nick Still.
Yeah, Nick Still Moto online. Let's just go to Eli real quickly for this one. From press day, one of the things we heard the most about the track being a little bit more technical, transitions a little bit steeper. Did you find this track any different, a sort of a build than it usually is? And does that sort of play into how it deteriorates throughout the night?
Yeah, it does. And I thought it was really steep. And Oakland notoriously has soft dirt, so I was pretty surprised to see it. I mean, the one long rhythm lane before the finish, I mean, there was a point where a lot of guys weren't even going 3 after we would do the 3 on off and then that next 3 because the transition was so steep with the soft dirt. So, and then they even laid down a bunch of water before the heat races started and made the track softer than what even the day was, in my opinion. So, I don't know. It's pretty interesting to see him go with a steep build on dirt that's going to be soft, almost guaranteed.
Absolutely. And then just secondly with Chase there, just take us through, some of the emotions. I know you've done it a little bit so far, but after, a third week like this, how does this week look? What do you change on the bike? Is there anything different you do with training and, just to get through these tough times?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Like I said, my riding and everything has been super good. And the first 10 minutes, I felt really like in a comfort zone. I wasn't overriding. I was hitting my marks and that stuff just, it happens. And it was unfortunate. But like I said, I'm still here. I still have an opportunity next week to come out and prove myself or fix the wrongs that I made. So I just look forward to that. And I think for me, just riding rougher tracks during the week and trying to replicate what I'm racing on, it's very tough, obviously, but that's the only way I can get better. And if we need to adjust the bike or I need to adjust myself, that's where I need to do it is 10 minutes into the main event. So that's what I'm focused on. And like I said, positivity is going to be the fix, and that's what I'm focused on right now.
Appreciate your honesty. Thanks, guys.
Luis from FEAM Latin America.
This question, thank you. This question is to Cooper Webb. Congratulations, this coming back. In the middle of the race, you start separating from Tomac 4 to 5 seconds. What happened there in that middle of the race that you start leaving behind?
I think, like I said, just kind of a couple laps where you're a few tenths off just add up, over time. On 5 of those laps at maybe half a second off, there's your 4 to 5 seconds.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And this question is to Tomac. Congratulations on the win, Tomac. You are 2 wins from Stewart. Have you ever thought that you can reach Stewart some years back? And which are the plans for the coming years to see if you can tie up Stewart?
Well, we'll just see. We'll see if I get there. So, yeah, don't want to talk about it being there if I'm not there. So, but like I said earlier, it's pretty cool to be around those guys and be up there in the wins with them.
All right, and the final minutes, did you thought that you could win the race actually?
Win?
And the final minutes.
Final minutes? Oh yeah. I mean, I had a decent gap up until that mistake where I flew off the track. So I thought it was all good up until that point, and then it wasn't all good, and Cooper was right on me, so it was close.
All right, thank you.
Alex Gobert.
Thanks, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. For Eli, what went through your mind when you saw Chase go down and obviously you're able to assume the lead so Yeah, what was your take on that at that point?
Well, I just thought it could happen to any of us. That situation from the beginning of the day, with the way this dirt is and how steep the build was and technical it was, I assume someone at some point in the main would make a mistake, and you just don't know who it's going to be.
Is there any added satisfaction for you to be able to come out with the victory, considering the condition, the difficulty of the track tonight?
Well, it's one of those races where I feel like I'm saying the same thing, but you don't know what's going to happen on this track. It's tough when there's whoops, dragging back whoops, but at the same time we don't get it all the time. So it's cool to see something different.
And just quickly for Chase, what's the conversation like? The reaction when the race finishes and you get back to the team? What's that like? Take us through that.
I'm pretty fired up. I mean, that's really all I can say. It's there's not much to be super happy about, and I'm my own biggest critic, so I hold myself to a high standard, and when I fall below that line, it's on me, and I'm obviously disappointed, but it's probably it's fun that we get to race every weekend because we always have that next chance to fix it. So, but yeah, for me, I'm pretty fired up on what happened, and like I said, I can only fix it for next weekend.
Okay, great. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Jonathan McCready.
First question for Chase. Chase, you made a mistake just before the crash. Did that have an effect on you or change your flow or your rhythm? Do you think that contributed to the crash, or were the two separate things in your mind?
I don't think that played any part. It was, like I said, I jumped the jump exactly how I did it prior to that, and it was just like it happened so fast. So after that, I changed my line on the Dragon's back. I started jumping it instead of skimming it, which was slow, but it's something that I've learned over the last few years is it's better to be on your bike than be off of it. So I just was trying to not make any more huge mistakes and get it to the finish line.
Thank you. And question for Eli. It seems like all three of you are trying to sort of create momentum for yourselves all through this series. You're winning a couple of races, and then Cooper and Chase are winning. How important was that heat race, Eli, just to get that momentum back from Tampa, and then obviously the win tonight in the main?
Yeah, I needed that rebound. I just didn't ride like myself at all last week. So for me, I knew I could do it and be there, but to go out there and execute, it's a different deal. So. Yeah, that was a good one.
And it feels like it's you three really now for the championship. Does that, a race like tonight, where the three of you up front, does that create an extra intensity and pressure? You can't really make mistakes in that situation.
I mean, yeah. I mean, obviously we're setting ourselves up as being the three guys, in this race. So, yeah, it's gonna be a barn burner.
Thank you.
Jamie, Guida, you have your hand up. You still have a follow-up?
Yeah, I got one more. I know, Chase, we've talked about the track quite a bit, but just this track seemed much more technical and maybe even a little bit slower pace, at least from sitting on the couch, than a normal Supercross track. Did you like that, or am I just completely wrong in how the track flowed?
The track layout was honestly awesome, other than the dirt was really soft. All day, even in practice, I feel like I was riding like it's not comfortable, and I do one lap at a time, just trying to get a lap in. And even the heat race, I didn't feel good. And then I came out for the main event, pulled the whole shot, and felt back to where I need to be riding. So it's just the track was really, really gnarly. That was the Dragon's Back whoop section was by far the hardest part of the track. Other than that, it wasn't super. I mean, it was technical, but it wasn't anything crazy. Just that Dragon's Back, man, it was super gnarly. I don't know how many whoops were on it, but that was a really big part of the track, and then obviously the whoop section. So it was. I thought the layout was fine. It's just it's really tough when it gets soft like that to be able to race it. But overall, like I said, I felt the best I had all day in the main event, so that was a positive because usually it's the other way around. And, yeah, gnarly track, obviously.
All right. Thanks for your time, guys.
Any other questions from the press? No? I think that's it. And I think all three of our podium can hold their heads high with that race. Congratulations, Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, and Chase Sexton. Thanks for your time.
Okay.
250's coming up. This is a press conference for the 250 West class and for Oakland round of the 2023 season of Monster Energy Supercross Championship and the Super Motocross World Championship. Jet Lawrence will be joining us shortly. There's an elevator backup, so he's on it and should be here shortly. For Cameron McAdoo, wound up in third place. Very hard won battle. I'm going to ask you the first question just about the injury you were facing. I think it might be a little tough to be in third place, but after what you dealt with in A2 and the injury that we all saw on your Instagram, everyone that I've talked to, including myself, are super impressed. How hard was that for you to come back after that wreck and get up here on the podium?
It was obviously a very long few weeks of getting my arm back to somewhat healthy, but I don't really want to highlight that. Like, I think that obviously I'm still struggling with it a little bit, but again, like I was the third best guy tonight, and I'm proud that we've got myself back to being healthy to race and to fight for it. But, yeah, it was tough, but we're back up here, so feels good.
Yeah, well, very impressive ride. And RJ Hampshire, for you as well, you had a similar incident at A2 in the Triple Crown, wound up crashing and coming back, having a week off. And even tonight, you wound up going down, but you clawed your way back. Can you take us through that crash and what was going through your mind as you made it all the way back to second place?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you always want to get a good start, but tonight I actually really was hoping I didn't get the whole shot, just because I knew it was going to be a tough main event for me, just from the week I had and how I felt on the bike. But yeah, I ripped the whole shot, and I mean, I felt pretty good. I knew I didn't have that for the whole 15 though, and yeah, I mean, it came through my head, but just came into that rut and caught a little rock, and there goes my front. So just kind of had to reset a bit. Cam passed me right away, and then just clicked it off and did what I could.
Well done. Excellent job. Jet Lawrence making his way. It's all good, man. All right, welcome to Jet Lawrence, who took the top honor here in Oakland, and Jet, we'll put you right on the spot here. I was calling the live action and didn't watch every single lap, but the ones I saw looked really clean. What was the most challenging part about that main event for you on this track?
I think the most challenging one was probably the second set of whoops, because they weren't quite jumpers yet. They're still skimmers. So them, and I think kind of I think maybe that longest rhythm, I was kind of struggling with it with the like kind of distance wise. Like I wanted to push through it a bit more, but the ruts would kind of send you a little bit more if you kind of push through it more. So kind of just the ruts and that stuff, just how the transitions are still so soft. So probably that, and it's like more so like that and the whoops mainly.
There it is. All right. Dan, main event moto?
Yeah, Dan, main event moto. RJ, this question's for you. You seem to, we don't hear guys very often say they don't want to get the whole shot, had a rough week. What was rough about the week? Are you still battling with some things with the bike just to get comfortable? Because it seems like there's weeks where you're comfortable, and then there's weeks that you're not comfortable.
No, not at all. I love my bike right now. It was stuff from A2. I didn't ride for 2 weeks, didn't do anything, didn't even leave really my house for the first week. And yeah, it was questionable on if we were going to race. I showed up this week, and I mean, I made the call on Monday. I was like, look, we're gonna go racing, and Alden wasn't really gonna let me go race unless I did a main event before we left. And then yeah, I did one Tuesday, and at the end of it, I was weak, pretty weak, but we got through it. And then yeah, I mean, I know I needed to execute a start, but yeah, I knew I wouldn't have had that whole 15 in me. Which sometimes it's easier to come from the back, and especially on a track like tonight. But on the sight lap, I jumped the whoops, first set of whoops, and I did my rhythm, and that's what I stuck to the whole main event. Like I wasn't going to do anything special, and somehow pulled it out tonight.
Thank you.
Aaron Hansel with Racer X. This one is for Cameron. You had a good battle with Pierce Brown out there, and then you guys ended up kind of getting together. I was just hoping you could take us through that.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things where we were going, I think that lap, I'm not sure if I went outside and skimmed the first set of whoops, but it was kind of a back and forth for me, whether it was faster to jump the whoops or skim them. I usually skim them as long as I possibly can. And then, yeah, he got me the turn before, and then I think I kind of ran him high in the turn after the whoops into the Dragon's back, and then I assume he had fell over. Because I didn't have him behind me afterwards. But, yeah, that was about all that was. There wasn't much to it.
This is a question for all three of you. Is it weird having, with this race being postponed, is it weird just kind of have a single race in the middle of nowhere and then just another break after this?
I kind of liked it, honestly, because if we didn't have this race, it was going to be, I want to say, 8 weeks off, 8 or 9 weeks, and that's a long time, But it was fine with me. I'd rather have it like this and have a real race than what it was looking to be, the second week of January.
Yeah, I agree with Cam. It was going to be a sucky weekend if we came here, and that with the rain, this is kind of going to be whoever's bike could last the longest, I feel like. So, and it's good, like Cameron said. Otherwise, we're going to have 8 weeks off. We could have gone had vacation and came back with off season. So. It was good to kind of break up the flow of just not race on the weekend, to kind of get that, still have that kind of racing, what's the word? Kind of still have that bit of racing in between, so you still know how it feels, instead of having such a big gap, then coming back in, it's you feel like you're almost at that first race again. So I think basically what Cam said is kind of keeping that race kind of mindset still there a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and I don't. I could have used that time to recover a bit more, but heck, I enjoy going racing, and if it was 2 weeks earlier, Cam and I don't think would have really been here. So that little break, and then can't complain to come out here and get a second on a night like tonight.
Yeah, Jason from Racer X. RJ was on it early. He had a little gap there. What was your strategy there? Were you waiting for the track to come to you? Were you going as fast as you could? How were the first couple laps? Because he had a pretty nice gap built up.
Yeah, first few laps, kind of just really just kind of seeing where the lines are at and what the main lines are going to be, just with how kind of chewed out the how chewed out the track is. So I mean, the biggest thing, I was trying to find the main lines pretty fast and stick to them before the other guys can. 'Cause Cam, like you said, he was going outside and skimming the whoops, still kind of feeling how that is and doing different stuff like that. So I kind of felt like this jumping at the start was okay, we're going to be doing this most of the race, I feel like. So it was kind of feeling the guys out. Then once I got Cam, it was kind of this, okay, what's the pace of RJ, what he's doing, and kind of a few laps where I think I made a mistake and he got a little bit on me, but it stayed pretty the same, maybe inched up a few times, but then he ended up going down. So I'm like, oh, well, makes my life a little easier. And then from there, it was just kind of like just keeping that same lap time, just trying to eliminate as much mistakes as I can and eliminate the risk, really, because the track could just, if you push it too much, it would just bite you so hard.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Even on this track, you had a nice lead, but are there still sketchy moments, even just doing laps, even if you're not going 110%?
No, I had my lines pretty down pat where I was going. I mean, you always have the feel like little times in the air where you're a little kind of awkward, but nothing too wild where it was like, oh, that could have been bad. I think the most one would have been the last lap to the second set of whoops. I tried jumping for some reason for a safer route and ended up kind of like half rolling, skimming out. But besides that, once I got into my flow, it was kind of like this at that 80% of like, yeah, it's kind of like that trail pace where you're not trying to push it too far, where if you do, like I said, you're going to get bit pretty hard. So it's kind of like that this comfortable zone where you can just keep kicking off the same laps.
David Iser?
Thanks, Dan. David Iser, DMXS Radio. RJ, considering how you seem still pretty banged up, what is the positive of racing a 450 at Daytona at this point? Still in a championship and still banged up right now.
Yeah, no comment. I don't know. Can't answer
That's
that.
That's actually a pretty good answer. Yeah, because I'm not sure
that.
there's a really good answer to that right now.
There isn't an answer, to be honest with you. So, I mean, yeah, I have one built. I haven't rode it yet. We'll see how it is. I might be there. I might not.
All right. And, Jet, you said you got sick before the main. Was that nerves or donuts or what?
I have no clue. I mean, all I saw was my dinner that I just chucked up, and I'm like, well, that's obviously not good. So, but I don't know. Like, I kind of had like my food. Like, I mean, the past few days I've been eating a lot, like a big fat boy. So it was kind of like maybe a build up past few days of just eating. But I don't know. I left the track fine and was good. Then I started walking the gate, and I'm just like, oh, my stomach feels pretty like full and like watery almost. I feel like I'm gonna throw up, and end up picking my gate. I'm like, just give me a minute, Christian. I ended up going to the corner and just kind of had a half throw up. Oh, that's not good. Then ended up fully throwing up. The main thing I was mad about, I started hearing a fan start laughing. I looked up, they started laughing. I'm like, this ain't funny. This sucks, man. So, but yeah, I don't know what it was really, to be honest. I think this either just didn't eat something good or just kind of ate too much.
You're like a goldfish. You literally overate. You got full, and you just overfilled.
Yeah, exactly. Ate too much. All right, we need to cut some weight down fastest way.
All right, thanks, guys.
Grace.
Grace Helping a Speed Sport. This is for Cameron and RJ. You guys are 4 rounds into the series for you guys right now. How much are you thinking about the championship, and just kind of what are your thoughts and maybe concerns?
I mean, for me, it's, we got to start winning. Like, that's kind of a big thing because it's gotten to the point, I think we're 20 points out or so. So, yeah, I think we just have to take it race by race and focusing on working to fight for wins. And, with us, our season is 9 rounds, so it's pretty short. And yeah, just bridge that gap to the front right now.
Yeah, I mean, just what Cam said. I think we both want to be better, and I think we both can be. I mean, Jet's got the speed on us right now, and yeah, I mean, we both at A2 like that hurt us pretty bad. So yeah, I mean, I think this 4-week break, hopefully we can come back in Seattle and have a little bit more fight in us.
Dan Manvan-Moto. This question's for all you guys. This track was pretty cool. It was a different layout than we've seen in years past. Some obstacles like that big dragon's back, the wall jump, kind of the turning rhythm section. Do you guys find that fun? It's a little bit different than probably what you guys ride at the test track, but do you guys enjoy the change?
I think it was fun at the beginning of the heat race. It was kind of survival mode for me when we got about midway through the main. Obviously, I'm still struggling with some stuff from A2, but yeah, the track layout was fun, and it was very busy for how big this floor is. But when it broke down, I can't say it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say with better dirt, this would have been an unreal track. I mean, it was a good track and it had flow whenever it wasn't super ruddy. But yeah, it was same as Cam. It's kind of survival towards the end of that main.
Yeah, I think like both the lads and what kind of RJ said, if it had good dirt where you could still get all the rhythms, like the quads and that stuff, I think it would have been a lot more fun. And where the whoops went, if the whoops stayed like this perfect, like when they first get built every lap, I think we would have had a blast. But yeah, half of the whoops got taken out by the bike, so it made it very sketchy. But layout was fun because it was something different. I mean, I've never really had a whoops go into a dragon's back and then to another set of whoops, and both the whoops there they weren't easy whoops, and especially the dragon's back. So I think it was fun, just more on the difficult side of level.
Thanks, guys.
Jamie?
This is going to be for Cameron and RJ, I guess. Grace kind of touched on it, I think, but with the points gap that Jet's already developed, these next few weeks are very important. Generally, you guys would do some outdoor testing. What is the game plan, if there is one, to bridge that gap? Is it Supercross only? Let's figure out what we need to do better, be better.
I think for me, I'm going to do some outdoor riding, I would assume, but we're going to still keep doing some Supercross as well. Obviously, we're not just going to go full outdoor testing, but usually when I do some outdoor riding, there's a lot of things that cross over and I can improve on. It helps me with Supercross. So obviously this is what we're mainly focused on right now, fighting for the championship. But yeah, we're going to start doing some outdoors because it comes quick.
Yeah, I mean, we really don't have a plan right now. Our plan was to make it to Oakland, and we showed up here and we raced.
Main race.
After after it, we haven't really talked about it yet, so we'll figure it out this week.
Ryan from Cycle News.
And Tomac and Max.
Hey, this is Ryan from Cycle News. Hey, my question's for Jet. Jet, that first lap.
Right back over the tabletop.
Can you hear me? That first lap, it looked like you went really deep off that first triple. Can you just take us through kind of that first lap and how you kind of turned on the patience after that?
Oh, sorry. Wait, which triple? From
the broadcast, it looked like that first, like the first main triple jump, not the rhythm section, but the actual triple after those rollers. It looked like you just went really long into that corner, but.
I probably could have. I can't quite remember right now. I mean, I went long on a couple jumps. I know one time after the finish line jump, I went 3 and landed in the face of the quad and almost saw Jesus. So, yeah, sorry, I can't quite remember that one, mate.
Right on. All good. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, I was going to ask, in the heat, you have a solid lead, and then you decide to try to quad anyway on the last lap. It went 3.5, so what made you decide to try that?
Which one? Because we tried 2 that lap.
Yes, before the finish, not the one after the finish.
Okay.
Yeah, right before the finish.
Yeah, I mean, the first, I tried it like halfway through, and we like cased a smidge. I'm like, yes, we felt this. And then the last lap, I'm like, okay, we got that triple good. Let's try it. And the line didn't look that soft, but as soon as I left the up round, I'm like, yeah, we're going to be feeling this for a very long time. And we got every single bit of that single. We did not miss any little bit. Ankles felt it, wrist felt it, body felt it, and I don't know. I just thought I could have got it that lap. We did not get it, so I'm like, we guess that's out of the books for tonight.
Alex Gobert.
Yeah, thanks, Alex Gobert, MotoOnline.com. This one's for RJ. I may have missed it earlier, but are you able to specify what it was that sort of kept you off the bike these past couple of weeks? Did you specify that earlier? I'm not sure.
No, I haven't said anything, and no one really knew other than my team. So I separated my shoulder pretty bad at Anaheim too. Thought that was it. Got on a flight home, slept in my own bed Sunday night, woke up Monday and wasn't feeling right. Ended up checking myself into the ER and had some internal bleeding that was pretty bad. Got transferred and spent a night in the hospital, and then just after that was brutal. Like the next 4 or 5 nights, I couldn't even sleep. Every time I would go to bed, just my body would be sweating like nonstop. So that was that's whenever Oakland didn't look like it was happening. Did all I could, and somehow we showed up here and put in a solid night.
Right on. Thank you. Good to see you here.
Nick Still.
Yeah, Nick Still, MotoOnline.com. This will be for Cameron. Cameron, being the sole rider there on the West Coast 250 class for the team, is that any added, pressure on you to go out there perform? Like you said, it's been a rough couple of weeks. If there was a situation of being other riders, would you'd potentially sit this one out, or is it you just love to race?
Oh, definitely not. I'm racing for me, Obviously, I think I already put enough pressure on myself, and they expect me to fight for wins and podiums, whether there's 2 or 3 of us on the coast or just me. And, however many riders there are, if I can race a dirt bike, I'll be here.
Absolutely. And now secondly, Jet, like we said a little bit earlier, there's going to be a few weeks off now, quite a few weeks off. What do you sort of get up to now? Do you jump on the 450, start doing some outdoor stuff, or do you take it a little bit easier? What's the weeks look like for you?
So next week, I start on the 450. I'm doing some actual Supercross testing, kind of getting ready for, do a little bit of Supercross testing when I have my Supercross legs under me, and mainly for that Super Motocross at the end of the year, just to kind of get a rough setting, because I still, I think I've said it multiple times, no one really knows what the Super Motocross layout is exactly going to be and how it's going to be built. We don't know if it's going to be more Supercross or kind of stadium cross. So we're going to get do testing in a week, and then maybe another couple of weeks on either on Supercross or maybe a bit of outdoors. So we're not 100% sure yet, but I know mainly on 450 for Supercross, getting that done, and then obviously just get ready for then I think Seattle. RJ said I think it's our first one back. So then obviously a week or two before we'll get back on the 250 for that.
So 100% chance we don't see you race a 450 on the East Coast, not even if it goes well this week?
No, I think it's a smarter decision. I mean, I know you guys would probably love it, but it's just kind of the risk factor in case, if we have any run-ins with anyone where I could either either break a femur from someone that's not really liking me and that's kind of T-boning me, or just any silly thing that could go wrong of tweaking a knee, over jumping a quad that I thought was a lot bigger, or stuff like that. There's anything could really happen on a 450, and if I do that on that and then end up losing a title because of that, I think I would look like I'd have egg on my face. So it's just a more all-round smart decision not to do any race on the 450 yet, because once we get to 450, then we will stay up there.
Thank you, mate. Cheers.
Luis, FEAM Latin America.
Yes. Hello. Congratulations, Jet Lawrence, for your race. One question. Did you ever thought before coming to USA that your racing here would be so successful as it is? And which is the clue you and your brother to win so many races? Is it the donuts or what it is?
No, I think if you would have told me back when we were in Europe what we have done so far, I think I would have just said, yeah, I mean, that's an all-time dream, but there's no chance. The hole that we're in Europe with money side of things, and there's kind of no, this trying to make it and get a ride just to kind of survive and get this a paycheck. If you would have told me then, I think I just would have laughed, said, yeah, there's no chance. So, I mean, it's been an unreal career so far over here in America. I mean, America's been great for me. They've been awesome. They welcome me with open arms, and the teams and that stuff, they've been terrific. So, and I don't know. I think we have a pretty good program with Osho and that stuff. So I'd say our serial things probably Osho, and just the guys around us. Our team it's more like a family now. We've just gotten closer and closer each year so far with HRC, and it's been awesome with those guys. I think our team has just really helped Hunter and I just get better as a rider, because we just have anything we need really or try. They're onto it. Yeah, let's try it. So it's just one great big family. I feel like, and it's great because we'll have that one goal that we all just strive for, and it just works really.
Excellent, thank you. This is from Makaru. Makaru, today was an extraordinary comeback after the big crash that you had in Anaheim. How do you feel today mentally thinking about the future, if you, after the race today, are thinking about doing some change in terms of your physical strength, your mental health, and all the motorcycle, sorry.
Yeah, obviously the next couple weeks we're going to still kind of be doing the same process that I've done the last couple weeks to get back to fully at 100%. But like we said, we have quite a bit of time now, so we'll probably keep our program pretty similar and just keep working to be better, not just physically, but just myself better, and yeah, just in general.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that'll do it. You were all warriors out there tonight. Congratulations, Jet Lawrence, RJ Hampshire, Cameron McAdoo. Great night of racing.
Thank you.
That'll conclude the press conference for Oakland here. And again, thanks to all our media partners. Appreciate you.
Thank you.